Hello everybody, welcome to a Saturday morning in my workshop. I am here, of course, my home in Western Australia, but I am working on my Africa Troop carrier today, and I'm going to report back on some of the challenges I had with the troop carrier and my solutions for those challenges. Those of you who had watched the Africa series all the way through would have followed the story on some of the challenges with the Africa Landcruiser. By and large, the Africa Landcruiser was a huge success, remains a huge success. Remember, it's got 500,000 kilometers on it, and of course we rebuilt everything, but we did not rebuild the engine. But more about that later. During one of the episodes, it was quite close towards the end, I took the door card off. It's fallen off. Okay, now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 very small self-tapping screws screwed into the back of this board, because I had been supplied a door pod to allow me to fit a larger speaker and a cup holder in the door, and they were of such poor quality. Well, not only did it fall off, I actually then binned it. One in there. Why one? Why not two? Why not three? Why not one down here? None down here at all. Oh, no, you did put one down there, but it missed. What I've decided to do is, with my Australia troop carrier, because consoles.com.au supplied me with a replacement door card, I have taken the door cards off this 2.8 Landcruiser. There they are there. Of course, they're close to brand new, and I'm converting these for use on my Africa troop carrier. And the way I'm doing it is this. I, of course, want to replace the door pods. These are proper. Now, the reason for a door pod: Landcruiser doors, there's not a lot of space for speaker, there's not a lot of width. This increases the width of the door and allows me to put a much larger, better speaker in place, and of course allows me to put a decent door pocket. The ones supplied with the Landcruiser are close to useless, good for a couple of maps, but that's about it. And so that's going to go like that, and I'm going to mount that in place. When Consoles supplied them, they supply them with a template, and I line them up with the door card. I mark it, I cut it, I drill it, and then this goes on. And I think with a nice set of speakers that I've just purchased, we'll go in like that. I'm not going to spend a lot of money on the sound system in the Africa Troop carrier, because I use it just once a year. So for 1 month a year I'm using it, and I want to have nice sound, but I don't need spectacular sound. So I'm actually going to replace the head unit. This again came directly out of my 2.8. Not a bad head unit, really not bad at all. It's quite okay. That'll be coupled to these speakers. They're Alpines. They were not expensive. Alpines, and I'm not sponsored. The amplifier I've got in my 2.8, I've coupled it with Focal K2 speakers, and the sound stage in my car is absolutely sensational. I'm not hoping for as good as that, but then again, because I'm worried about security and theft and that kind of thing, I don't want the car to draw any attention to itself, so those simple speakers in that door pod will do the trick. Other news about the Africa Landcruiser: you may remember I could not engage low range. Oh, I didn't tell you. The low range doesn't work on the gearbox. I can't get it into low range. Otherwise I would be able to get out of this. The cause has been established. It was in fact a small switch.
This is the low range switch. Goes in the transfer case. It seems to have worn on the inside. A little pin in the front as it extended itself by 1.5 millimeters maybe. You can see it is also now bent, probably with a struggle to try and get it into low range.
I think there might be a way. So the linkage arm can come like this. If I can pull this as you do that, I think I can pull it into low, because we got it into low 2 days ago. I just need some leverage, and I can't do it from underneath because there's no way to get to it. So what I can do is tie something on it and pull it from out here. I can literally pull it with a rope or a cable. I've got this hooked around the transfer case lever arm,
Yeah.
and I can pull that with my entire body weight now while you go into,
Which will pivot it like that.
which will pivot it like that and go into low. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
2, 3, go.
Right, we've got a cargo strap looped around the low range lever underneath the gearbox, and Jeremy is trying to force it into gear.
See if I can get it
Meanwhile,
better.
I'm inside the cab,
leverage with
also
the arm.
trying to force it
Try it
into
again.
gear.
High.
Okay, ready?
Yes. 1, 2, 3, go!
So this was actually getting stuck on the little ramp on the fork. When you select low range, that goes in, which tells the car you can turn your diff locks on because it's in low range. It's actually relevant on this vehicle because I see the diff locks work in high range as well. It's been wired differently. Doesn't even need this switch. So this little switch caused all the problems.
I'm gonna just give it a big old jerk. Ready?
Yeah. Okay, go! It's in. It's in low range.
Okay.
It's in low range.
You sure?
Yeah, it's in low. I felt it. I felt the second click. That is in low range now.
Okay. It's about 400 pounds I just put on that thing, so it should be in.
And we had to adapt our trip accordingly. The engine news towards the end, I was saying how tired I was of the 1HZ. I've got a 2.8 in my. I've ran a V8. I'm tired of an engine that just you have to flog it to death, even when it's good. That's the 4.2 normally aspirated diesel engine fitted to NGO Landcruisers and also Landcruisers in Africa. Most of them have that 1HZ. Very, very popular engine, incredibly reliable engine, and a dog, really underpowered. Even when they run well, they are underpowered. And of course, mine, having 500,000 kilometers on it, was a dog of note. We are converting it with the help of Paul Marsh's team and Sneyman 4x4 in Cape Town. We are converting it to the, drum roll, the HD FTE motor. It's a 4.2 straight 6 multi-valve turbocharged engine, first put in late series 80s, then of course in the 100 series, the VX Sahara, the upper specs 100 series. The FTE is an engine that I think most Toyota fans will agree, created during Toyota's finest hour. Never put in the 105. The 105 was the 100 series, but with the solid axles, actually the same chassis as the 80 series. They never put it in that car. One of the best, in my book, all-round four-wheel drive station wagons ever made. But they never put a great engine in it. The engines they put in it were either the very, very thirsty EFI 4.5 or the dog 1HZ that we've already spoken of. The FTE has become almost like a collector's piece. People they're so good at getting massive amounts of power out of with reasonable consumption that any spare part that you buy for it is immediately more expensive than for any other engine, just because it's an FTE, because the FTE is that desirable. That's what we'll be doing in early 2025. Oh, but there's one other thing that's, I'm actually forgetting probably the most important thing of all. I received some pictures last week. Can you see them? This is in the workshop at Alu Cab, and the Hercules, I believe now this is the Generation 3 Hercules troop carrier roof conversion, has been done on my troop carrier. The interesting thing about the Hercules is because I was directly involved in their very first, their prototype it was early 2012, and I was part of the design team, because my troop carrier, my green one, was the very first troop carrier imported by Toyota South Africa. Before 2011, Toyota South Africa never imported troop carriers. Those troop carriers that did find their way to South Africa were either from Australia, and some of them were from Central African states. None from South Africa. So I got the very, very first one. In fact, I got the first of two that were used by Toyota for their homologation and approvals before the batch was approved and they started coming into South Africa for sale. So I had the very, very first one, and that very, very first one had the very, very first Alucab Hercules fitted to it.
In December 24, I released a video telling the full story of the Alucab Hercules rooftop tent conversion for troop carrier. It's linked above.
In the meantime, this is going on my Africa Troopy. So there it is there, the door card for the South Africa build, and I'm quite excited about getting back there and fitting it to the vehicle. Unfortunately, the handles are a little bit old, but the handle goes there and the door catch there. Now the other side.
No vehicle is ever perfect, no build is ever finished, and as I mentioned in my series, I was frustrated because normally I spend my Saturday mornings tweaking my builds and getting them just right for me. It's part of the thing that I love about four-wheel driving. This is part of it. So I just want to go through the box of tricks that I have that I'm going to take, and I'm going to modify some parts and send them over so they're ready there before I arrive. That's part of the dashboard. It's a spare that I have from one of my builds, and it came off a brand new vehicle, so that's got no scratches or anything on it. I shall be taking that with me. I want to upgrade my flood lights, and I'm using the laser lamp work lights. I've got two of those that I'm taking with me. There's the other one. I have a water purification system. I'm going to be using this guy here. This is the H2O Guzzle, and it's a very, very nice compact UV and particle filter in there, and it gets tapped into the water system that exists in the vehicle. That is going to sort that part of it out. I have a far better head unit. This one actually came out of my 2.8 here in Australia. It's just better than the one I've got in there at the moment. And I have cabling for it, and I have actually not much of great importance in there, but this part is important. This, of course, is the kitchen box. Now, in the South Africa build, there was a box on the rear left gull wing, but because it's not one of their primary products, it was actually something that they built for me, my request to them, but it needs a lot of work, and this was my frustration. It wasn't right. They don't offer it as a product, so it's not something that they have fitted, tested, got feedback and developed. It was just something they built for me. So the best way of doing this by far is for me to build one here in my workshop and get it just right, and then just send it over. Basically what you're watching is I'm camped on a very lonely pan in Botswana, just north of the Mabusahubi Game Reserve. I have started a workshop here. This vehicle has 500,000 kilometers on it. We built it. I purchased it early 2023, did the mechanical restoration, and then during 23 and a bit of 24 did a conversion into a camper tourer. And this, I'm on its first expedition. And I am made up a little bit of a workshop here because I need to try and make my systems work. They're not working particularly well right now. Normally it would be Saturday morning and I would be working in my workshop, and I would be refining things for my build. I haven't had a chance to do that. The build has been built in my absence. Now in the Africa build right here there are some electric power points for my charging station. They fitted ordinary USB chargers, but they're not sufficient for my needs. I need those USB chargers to be very high wattage types to be able to charge my batteries and cope with the electrical needs of all my camera equipment. These ones I got for about less than $8 a pop on eBay. Sometimes it's just worth buying stuff online. They arrived in 2 weeks and they're a third of the price that you get them from the store. So, and I've actually fitted the exact same ones in my 2.8 cruiser. I've tested them. Yeah. This video recorded in February 2025. Alright, getting really excited about my Africa trip. As you can see in my troop carrier there, I don't have a kitchen box and I miss it. I really miss it. And I'm talking to the guys about putting one in this vehicle. And the black one that I showed you earlier doesn't fit in this one. And also the guys in South Africa said, no, we want to get this right. We'll do a kitchen box. So I've left it back to them. I will take my electrical components and fit it in there, but I have left it up to them to build me an Africa kitchen box. It was a good offer, and hey, if I can help them get a design a little bit better for me, then it'll probably be better for many other people as well. I'm going to wrap this video up now. I want to shout out to Terrain Tamer. Terrain Tamer offered to send, because they now have a branch in Cape Town, they offered to send all my kits, the door pods and other bits and pieces that you've seen on this video. They have sent it over via sea freight with their container to help me out cost-wise. It's really expensive sending stuff to South Africa from Australia. So they're helping me out with that. So thank you very much, Terrain Tamer. The next you will see is me in Cape Town collecting the Landcruiser. But I've been having several discussions with Paul and Hubert. There is a problem with the FTE conversion, and it is a simple matter of cost. We might not be able to do it this year. They want to keep the project alive. I really want to keep the project alive. But it's a very costly thing to do. The 1HZ in that vehicle is tired. As I mentioned, it has to be replaced. It's no good for another expedition. So I've got to do something. They've come up with a solution. But the solution might not be the FTE. So I'm kind of disappointed about it. But the most important thing for me about this is that I have a good, reliable cruiser for my expedition, which is happening. It's booked. I arrive in Cape Town in the last week of April. I meet my family in Zimbabwe. We've got a great bunch of guys in Zimbabwe that are going to show us around. They've offered to become our tour guides. We're going to have an incredible trip. My family is then joining me, and we will be driving a 3-vehicle convoy and exploring the southern coastline of Lake Kariba. Those of you who don't know Lake Kariba, it is the world's largest by volume man-made lake. It is an astonishing place. The wildlife around it is absolutely incredible. And in a way, it's a bit of a unsung hero of the African safari experience. It's amazing. I've been there twice, and I can't wait to share that with you. Remember, all of the videos will be on the ASPW experience, and there will just be one video for public, which will be on this channel's sister channel. But all of the technical, the build, the story behind the FTE, the Africa Landcruiser will remain on this channel. Thank you so much for watching.